communications in the process of review and the discussion. It is not an one-way process of communication from the appraiser to the appraisee. It is dynamic process which requires free participation by the subordinate. There should be common understanding in goal setting and performance review. Joint participation by both the parties and reporting officer as well as appraisee are required for both in goal setting and performance review. If there is no collaboration, such kind of collaboration between two parties, they will not be able to achieve the objectives. Focus on work-oriented behavior. The ultimate purpose of the performance review discussion, is to help the employees to progress in terms of performance. Effective review discussions requires focus on the work, aligned goals, rather than diluting attention to various other areas, for example, personal issues or personality or personal issues. Avoidance of discussion of salary and other rewards. This is not the right time for the parties involved to discuss about rewards and other benefits. It is meant for performance appraisal, performance review. That salary and review discussions can be done during performance appraisal, not at this time, because it deviates the objective of the discussion. Follow up through internal exchanges is very important. Many a times it happens that the session do not produce effective results for the reason of not having proper follow-up. Follow-up or feedback through informal exchange go a long way in communicating interest in the employees. Otherwise, the employees may feel that these reviews, performance review discussion is farce, and he will lose interest slowly. With this, we completed the unit 4, and let's move to unit 5, which is employee productivity. In this, we are going to talk about trying to understand what is the meaning of employee productivity, importance, what are the various factors affecting productivity, ways of measuring employee productivity, what are the pros of measuring employee productivity, what are the challenges faced during the measurement of employee productivity, how to improve it, and how to measure and manage individual productivity using employee productivity for setting designing incentive system, and understanding individual and organizational productivity and linking these two processes. And also we are going to talk about individual productivity and goal alignment. And of course, models of productivity we are going to discuss in coming in slides. Employee productivity, let's understand the output related to the inputs per person or system with reference to a point of time. So it refers to the ratio between measure of output and a measure of input. There are two ways to enhance productivity. Output can be increased without varying in input, or input can be decreased without varying the output, thereby decreasing the cost of the resources. So, productivity of the worker is measured as an output. For example, units produced in relation to input, that is cost of the labor. We can calculate the productivity by dividing quantity of goods and services produced by resources used. An increase in productivity ratio means rise in productivity, and a decrease in the ratio refers the decrease in the productivity. Why it is so important in the organizations? Measuring productivity measure of an efficiency which employees do their work. It is a tool useful to check and evaluate the performance of any unit, such as an employee, equipment team, or department or division organization, individual and national economy. It helps in making comparison of the effectiveness at work. It enables comparative effectiveness of the employees, teams, departments at work. This in turn facilitate identification of problem areas and initiation of remedial measures for the future improvement. In very competitive environment, productivity helps the companies in gaining competitive advantage over the market, other competitors or in the market. When the performance improves through productivity measures, a chain of positive events occurs. The quantity and quality of output increases, the demand for products increases, leading to an increase in the sales, in which turn leads to increase in the market share, and the company may emerge as a market leader. It is also used for comparing performance of the organization with competitors. It can be used as a benchmark in the industry. So, what are the factors affecting productivity? The wages and salaries, or the incentive system, or financial incentives. This is a major factor which will affect the productivity. Job security. When employees feel secure at their workplace in terms of job, they'll have a long-term plans and obviously deliver more. Health and safety uh, also will affect productivity. So, what are the advantages of having a healthy and safety work environment? Uh, it reduces the rate of injuries and sickness, less absenteeism, less labor turnover, increases quality of the work, increases productivity, improving the service quality, prevents dissatisfaction of customers, prevents risk of losing future businesses, avoids damage of equipment, material, shop amenities, improves the goodwill and reputation of the company. It enables a company to fulfill the problems of labor, legislations relating to the safety of workers, and avoid negative attention. Another factor is team and teamwork. Performance management and rewards also will have impact on productivity. Training and development, employee development, workplace culture. These are some of the factors affecting productivity. So, how to measure employee productivity? So, productivity measure is a measure of efficiency with which inputs are transformed into outputs through a process. Measurement of productivity is very useful to the management to take appropriate actions or decisions. The measurement of employee productivity can be conducted in accordance with the requirements of the company. There are various methods used to measure employee productivity. First method is the output per man-hour, which is calculated by dividing output by man-hours used. Second method is labor hours per unit output. Here, total man-hours used can be divided by output, which gives employee productivity. The last method is added value per unit of labor cost. So, this can be calculated by value added for the product divided by the total wages. These are the three methods to measure employee productivity. And what are the advantage of measuring productivity? It improves work efficiency, reduces production cost, benchmark production process, and assessment of living standards. Okay, these are the some of the examples of some of the advantages of measuring employee productivity. So, what are the various issues we come across while measuring productivity? So, this productivity, especially employees' productivity, can be measured in physical units like numbers. For example, it can be meters or liters, etc. And also in monetary terms like price and profit, of course, the cost. And this measurement depends upon needs of the organization. The output and its measurement differ from industry to industry. In certain cases, the output can be easily measured, but in cases it is very difficult to measure the output. In case of quantitative dimensions, measurement is easy, but where in qualitative dimensions, the measurement is very difficult. In case of service sector, the output measurement in terms of number of customers contacted, added, complaints attended, etc., but cannot be measured more precisely. Quantitative aspects of productivity such as quality, magnitude, and intensity of labor efforts cannot be measured. We can take it as we could take approximate estimates, but cannot be done accurately. In case of development of new designs and models of the products, production of pioneering products, measurement of productivity becomes critical and consumes lot of time. When different individuals, teams, and systems of management are involved, measuring efficiency of individual team and systems of the management is a big challenge. In the case of multi-product, which uses multi-inputs, or the difficulty arises when the development of product measures. The productivity measures changes with the passing of time, from time to time. So these are some of the challenges or issues associated with measurement of productivity. But how to improve productivity? It cannot be done instantaneously or suddenly. It takes long process. It involves all the people, employees, teams, departments, business unit, organization at micro level, and also involves government at macro level. There are certain steps we can take into consideration to measure the to improve the productivity. Clearly setting mission of the organization. Of course, the goals and objectives setting should be very, very clear, and they should be conveyed to each and every people who are concerned. Setting the performance standards. Employees should be motivated. Identification of their strengths and weaknesses will also help to improve the productivity. And training and development whenever it is necessary to address the weaknesses, to fill the gaps. And finally, performance appraisal. By going through all these steps, we can improve the productivity. But how to measure individual productivity? Measuring employee productivity is a significant activity, very important activity. This requires a clear indication of productivity. Of course, they are different from indicators are different from organization to organization. So let us look into some of the examples for examples of indicators. These are the probable productivity indicators to be increased or improved. The value of annual sales, the number of new customers have come into the who purchased or used services, purchased products or used services, the number of customers per employee, the retention of customers, and to be decreased or checked, the cost of the production, the percentage of wastage, the absenteeism of staff, the customer complaints. These are some of the indicators. So there is certain criteria we can follow to measure and evaluate employee productivity. Objectivity, there should be objectivity rather than subjectivity in measures with regard to superior or peer assessments. Availability, measures should exist at all levels, including individual employee, team level, employee level, team level, and organization level or firm level. Comparability, measurement should be consistent across employees. Employees working on a similar task shall have similar measurements. Finally, quality and controllability. These are the ways to evaluate employee productivity measurements. Now let's look into incentive designing or setting incentives. Um, how to use employee productivity for setting incentives. Incentive schemes encourages everybody, motivates the people to increase the performance. Uh, since long time, all many organizations are using this system. Uh, the companies use golden handcuffs, also called retention or loyalty incentives. This will help to retain the high performing people or make sure they are loyal to the organization, to retain talented employees by indicating that they are valuable to the organization. So, till today, many organizations are using this incentive system for designing uh, employee productivity to gain more productivity from the employees. So, there are certain guidelines which has to be followed while designing incentive system. Communicating with the people involved who all are involved uh, about this incentive system, building relationship, uniqueness, equity, team productivity, adopting changes, personalization, and personal development. These are some of the guidelines you need to follow while using employee productivity for setting incentives. And how to link individual and organizational productivity, linkage and processes. Of course, the productivity of all economies in the world determines the productivity of the world. Of course, this productivity of economies in turns depends upon the productivity of the organization, each and every, all the organizations in the economies. And in turn, this depends upon productivity of individual employees performing different jobs. And this forms the basis for understanding all productivity concerns. The relation between individual productivity and the productivity of organization becomes very challenging due to complexity of environment. Only by understanding the individual productivity, practitioners and researchers started developing theories and models which deals with the synergies and problems that happen with when individual employees are coming together into work teams, departments, and divisions. It is imperative to understand that emphasizing individual productivity measures offer a short lightened outlook of the organization. In order to direct the efforts of management and employees towards common vision, goals, and objectives, strategies are formulated by the organization. Even the best strategies fail to produce the desired results unless they are supported by the positive culture within the organization. Even the best strategies fail to produce the desired results unless they are supported by the positive culture within the organization that emphasizes change, innovation, continuous improvement, teamwork, and dignity. Of course, respect towards people. This productivity is not only indicator of individual or organizational performance. It is interrelates with change capacity, financial contracts, controls, innovation, risk taking ability, competitive effectiveness, which can lead to either success or failure of the organization. So it is vital to understand how the measurement and management of the individual productivity contributes to group productivity. This is because individual productivity in turn contributes to organizational productivity. Individual productivity and goal alignments. Though the individual productivity and goals of the organization looks independent, but they are very closely related, like individual goals and organizational goals needs a close congregation. Productivity also needs alignment. Towards a greater understanding, first we should be aware of basics of individual productivity analysis and measurements that help in the uh, few key functions. One is define productivity and direct behavior. Setting standards for productivity measurements should be communicated with the expectations from the job to the employees, to the superiors, and others. Productivity measurement provides clarity, direction, thereby guiding the employees towards productive activities. Thus, individual behavior is associated with the productivity of goals. Monitor performance and provide feedback. This Productivity measurement system offers a mechanism to monitor the progress towards the goal. It can be a main component of the employee's performance assessment, resulting in rewards or remedial actions. The third aspect is diagnose problem. Productivity analysis or the analysis of trends in productivity assists in identifying problems before they become disaster. This will help to design corrective actions. Facilitate planning and control. Productivity measurement provides information relating to output, input, cost, time, etc. It helps in better decision making with respect to schedules, production schedules, purchasing inputs, pricing aspects, contracting, delivering schedule, etc. in value chain. Productivity analysis along with the other elements of the company strategy will help in determining products or processes which can be extended and which can be phased out. Support innovation. So, productivity analysis along with the cost data helps in evaluating of planned changes to existing products or processes and the introduction of new changes or innovative changes. It is one of the crucial basis for survival and success of the organization. So there are a couple of models we look into to increase the productivity. So the main objective of the organization is to bring synchronization between individual work behavior and organizational goals. To achieve this, the management has to develop measures that will produce organizationally desirable behavior. We have two models here: goal measurement and behavior model, and goal alignment model. By adopting these models, organizations can improve the productivity of the individual or team or organizational goals. Let's move on to Unit 6. The title is this is all about performance audit. In this, we are going to understand what is performance audit, its significance in the organization, the process of performance audit, what are the various types of performance audit, and how to prepare performance audit report, what are the contents to be mentioned in performance audit reports. Let's look into performance audit. There are two perspectives for performance audit. One is at macro level and other is at micro level. Macro level performance audit refers to examination of government activities or policy related. Micro level refers to activities which are concerned within the organization or organizational level or activities. There are three fold objectives for performance audit. One is economy, second one is efficiency and effectiveness. Performance audit is undertaken in a series of steps. Report has to be submitted to the management in order to take remedial measures. This audit identifies various gaps in the system and it, its impact on human performance is sensitive. These reports become very sensitive to both organization or rather management and employees. Employees performance audit is typically reviews the employee's performance against expected goals and objectives. Are they reaching the expected goals or not? So, how to define this performance audit? We can define performance audit differently at micro level and macro level. At macro level, as per Warning and Morgan, performance auditing of a government program or activity is a systematic objective assessment of the accomplishments or processes of a government program for the purpose of determining its effectiveness, economy, or efficiency in achieving project and or organizational goal. There is another definition we can look into. This definition is given by International Organization of Supreme Audit Institution. According to this institution, performance auditing provides the channel for taxpayers, finances, legislatures, executives, the general public, and the media to execute control and to obtain insights into the running and outcomes of the different government activities. It is an essential element for the accountability process in all public jurisdictions. At micro level, that is organizational level, performance audit of an organization refers to an assessment of the activities of the organization to see if the resources are being managed with due regard for economy, efficiency, effectiveness, and accountability requirements are being met reasonably. This definition is given by Professor Khan. Why it is so significant? Why performance audits are very significant? These performance audits help in conducting the business in economic, effective, and efficient ways. It measures efficiency of an organization, processes, and elements in order to determine whether inputs are used in the output in an optimal way. It assists in identifying problems and analyzing the causes and effects. The performance audits are not constrained by the departmental boundaries. These audits bring new insights into problem encountered by auditing companies. It ascertains the best performance enhancement opportunities within the organization. These audits should look at quality and quantity apart from sales and revenue figures. These audits facilitate in prudent business decision making. These audits can provide information in measurable terms This audit information becomes more authentic with with the use of dashboards or balance scorecards. It reports highlights areas of weaknesses and recommendations for remedial actions. It enables better utilization of resources. It helps governments, ministries, departments, and agencies to improve their operations. So, what is the process of performance audit? It's not a single activity and it's a continuous process. It is not time oriented. It is undertaken every day. It is continuous, conducted internally with the help of employees designated for auditing. It can also be done with the help of an external auditing bodies. There are certain steps followed for the better performance auditing process. According to Bhattacharya, there are certain steps which has to be followed for performance audit process. First step is development of assessment criteria. On what criteria assessment has to be done, setting benchmark, the choice of audit objectives, preparing proper schedule for auditing, the choice of audit tasks, preparatory work, and performance audit planning. These are the 6 steps involved in the process of performance audit. There are different types of performance audits. Basically, there are 3 categories, 3 types of audits. There are different standards related to each of these types. First one is financial audits. Second one is compliance audit, and finally performance audit. Let's look into all these 3 types of audits. Financial audits offers assurance that the financial statements are prepared correctly, presented correctly. And compliance audits, these audits are to determine the degree of compliance of laws and regulations given by the authorities. Then financial and compliance audits may be conducted. Audited may be done together. Whether the auditor also provides an assurance that the funds have been expanded in accordance with the laws and regulations, besides presenting true and fair view of the financial statements. Though financial statements are prepared properly in accordance with various laws and regulations, by itself it cannot guarantee that public programs provide value for money to the taxpayers, which gives rise to the third important area of activity, that is performance audits. These performance auditing emphasizes on improving performance of public administration by scrutinizing whether public programs and services attain the principles of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness, and ascertaining conditions or practices that impede performance and facilitate the auditor to make appropriate recommendations. There are many many types of performance audits. Efficiency audit, program effectiveness audit, performance management capacity audit, performance information audit, risk assessment audit, best practices review audit, general management review audit. All these comes under performance audits. Those are the 3 types of audits conducted. How to report audits? performance audit reporting. These reports are very sensitive. It contains information about uh, people who are involved. So it's an human element. It also talks about their attitudes, sentiments, emotions. All these are affected with the understanding of information in the report. So these reports to be prepared very carefully. So what is the criteria for preparing performance report, audit reports? We need to follow certain criteria for preparing these audit reports. First one is completeness. All relevant information necessary to satisfy the audit objective, comprising the information concerning scope, criteria, evidence, conclusion, and recommendations, is considered as complete report. So all the information related to this aspect should be included in the audit report. Accuracy. So accuracy indicates that the evidence prescribed in factual and the conclusions are correctly depicted. While accurate reports win the confidence and hearts of the employees, of course, vice versa, inaccurate reports lose their trust in the performance audits. Having objectivity for performance audits. An audit report is considered to have objectivity only when it guarantees rational conclusions and balanced content. Of course, bias is the common challenge. Um, Bias and dishonest practices in the reporting leads to doubts about the audit itself. Next criteria is convincing. Usually, audit reports are perceived as negative assessments. So, people are not convinced about the observations and recommendations made in the report. If the outcomes of audit are presented persuasively and the conclusions and the recommendations are followed logically from the facts presented, employees get convinced and respect the report. So, facts and figures are important to prepare convincing reports. Clarity. So, clarity of content of report should be easy to read and comprehend. For having too much of abbreviations, jargon in the report make it very difficult for to understand. So report should be simple and easy to understand. Conscientiousness is brevity of the report. The contents of the report should be brief and focused. The report should be optimal size. It required to deliver the audit opinion and conclusion. Having too much of information will scare the employees. Next criteria is balance. A report is considered as balanced if it is presents both criticism and good performance in a rational manner. Most of the audit reports are perceived negative as they contain more of critical information. Consistency means identical, compatible, and similar in similar situations. The report is consistent if it does not encompass conflict, conflicting findings or conclusions in similar situation, or the conclusions on the identical segment in different parts of the report are not incompatible. Otherwise, it is uh, believably in lost. Constructive reports. These audit reports should be consist of advice and corrective actions. Criticism in the report should be constructive, and a derogatory remark hurts the people, so audit report should demonstrate a corrective approach rather than critical approach and embrace suitable recommendations. And timelines are very important while preparing the audit reports. Usually, the purpose of investigation and reporting to understand the current situation and initiatives remedial for current situation. Thus, the value of the report is enhanced if it is submitted on time. Delayed reports are only postmortem. They do not add any value to the current situation. They cannot improve the situations. So these are some of the criteria need to be taken considered while preparing reports. Let us look into the structure of performance audit report. It should start with the title, that is subject of the performance audit, saying employee productivity audit report. The main audit findings uh, uh, should be highlighted either in order of their materiality or in the same order as audit objectives or sub objectives. Next should come recommendations. All major recommendations should be presented together immediately after the highlights, preferably in a box or highlighting print. Ideally, all matters of facts, figures, evidence, audit findings and conclusions included in the report should have been accepted by the entity by the time the final report is prepared. So, insofar as the entity and subunits are concerned, the action would be revolve around implementation of the recommendations and follow up respectively. So, therefore, be desirable to gather all the recommendations together. So next step should be point should be introduction. It should be brief. It should be adequate enough to facilitate the readers uh, to comprehend the context of the program. A brief description of the subject of the study program or whatever activity or institution, its goals, inputs, implementation, structure, anticipated output, and etc. all should be mentioned in introduction. Scope of the audit. It should provide details about the period of the program covered by audit, and sections of the program audited should be set out specifically. Audit objectives. What are the objectives on to perform performance audit? Audit objectives of performance audit justify the purpose of undertaking the audit and provide direction for audit. They should be expressed in simple and clear terms. Audit criteria should be stated with appropriate explanations. Audit methodology. It is also necessary to state in brief the methodologies used for data collection, gathering evidence, and testing. By providing this kind of information enhances the acceptability of the audit findings and provides transparency of the audit process. Next, listing audit findings. Findings with respect to economy, efficiency, effectiveness should be depicted in a logical way, preferably in the same sequence as the statement of the audit objectives. Finally, conclusions and recommendations and impact or outcome analysis. For each audit objective, conclusions, recommendations, and impact analysis should be specified, preferably subsequent to the audit findings. Lessons learned and sensitivity to error signals. So, under this title, noteworthy audit findings on sensitivity and effectiveness of the internal control system, sensitivity of the management to several error signals produced through internal inspections, evaluation, complaints, study of interest groups, etc., and effectiveness of the action taken may be included. Acknowledgements. It is necessary to acknowledge in brief the people who ever cooperated, acceptance of the criteria, findings, and recommendations by the entity. In case the cooperation or response was not impending at any stage, it may be specified if it has caused in any limitation along with the implications and the distinctive efforts made to seek cooperation or response. Having graphs, charts, diagrams, photographs, the visibility of the analysis and findings can be improved by illustrating the audit findings with the use of whatever the visual structures like graphs, charts, diagrams, photographs. These will prove as an evidence or acts as an evidence. Finally, glossary of terms, whatever the technical terms or jargon used while preparing the report, all these terms should be explained in the glossary. And references or bibliography, finally, references to the published material used in developing the report should be indicated. So, every audit report should have these key aspects in the structure. So, that's all for now. We completed Unit 5. No, sorry. We completed Unit 6. In the next class, we are going to discuss on measuring performance. That is block 3. And in this, we have 3 units again. Unit 7 is about 360 degrees appraisal. Unit 8 is about assessment centers. And Unit 9 is about potential appraisal. So we are going to discuss on these topics in coming classes. Thank you so much. See you in next class.